And welcome to the Tomsic Analysis. It's a Thursday live stream with David Tomsic. I'm glad you can join me today, and I hope that you're all well. Is America being drawn into World War III on purpose? Are we allowing this to happen? Do we want to be drawn into World War III? Well, the answer to that really lies in a few things. First of all, we are very close to that time basically in two wars we're in right now. The war in Ukraine and the war in the Middle East. And of course, the one in Ukraine started a long time ago, and I mean a long time ago, decades ago. It was really a war against Russia more than anything else, well before the lines were drawn in Ukraine. So where are we at with this war? With the possibility of a nuclear war? Well, we have to go back to World War I and II. And actually, these wars were supposed to really be the end of colonialism. Do you remember that, colonialism? Yeah, we had a lot of that. And recently, it's been Great Britain, the great colonial empire, and the United States, the new colonial empire slash, neo-colonial empire. Okay? And this really didn't work. It didn't happen. And you might ask why. Well, the reason is we never really wanted to let go of our grip on the world. We say this in history books and documentaries and a lot of the BS that people talk about who were actually in the war. They all believed and drank the Kool-Aid. We were there somehow to liberate the world. Well, excuse me, we didn't. We took it out of one bondage and put it into another. This new bondage that has been taking place since World War II is the financialization or financialism, okay? The new financialism of the world. We needed to grow our country, and we didn't have everything here to do that. We don't have, and many people believe, and there's a lot of, really dumb people that talk out of both sides of their mouth. And they don't get that. Yeah, we may have some gas and oil here, but that's really not all you need to grow an empire. And those things we need, minerals, heavy metals, gold and silver, and of course other natural resources that go into making modern equipment and modern weapons, modern technologies. We don't have all that here. And if we do, not in any great supply. So where do we go from this? Well, the thing is, we have not let go of anybody until recently, where we were forced to let go of people. We were thrown out of 3 countries in Africa. We're being now, the battle in the Middle East is on. Ukraine has massive deposits of gas and oil. They have fertile, rich ground to grow food on. Parts of Russia, of course, and most of Russia has endless supplies of minerals and all the things needed to do a lot of different things with technology, with keeping your country in survival mode, okay? So the thing now we have to do is see, well, where did this lead? Well, it led today to the wars we're seeing, because as more people come against us, as more countries grow and band together in economic unions like the BRICS, military alliances like what's happening with Russia and North Korea, Russia and Iran, and China is going to follow suit with that. They have agreements with Russia. As these agreements come together, we have to understand that there's going to be a battle for resources, a battle for this new age of either freedom or new age of bondage. Now, I hate to say this, the people who are the scariest are the Americans and the Israelis, okay? But I digress a little bit there. The war in Ukraine is where I'm going to start with this. We've almost seen nuclear weapons used there a few months back. This was talked down, and they stood down. This was the Russians. The American military, let's face it, is at war with us, with Russia there. we have supplied billions of dollars of equipment and aid. We are not going to let up. There will be continuing escalation with the types of weapons used there, because many people in this country, and I think you got to realize, and I talk to people all the time that just don't understand. They don't understand, and it's complex geopolitical chess. Okay, they don't understand that we are dealing with a step above. Yeah, we're just great, and we have the dollar, and everything's okay here. No one's going to mess with us, and it's going to be fine. It's always going to be fine. And all this crazy talk they tell you, they don't realize that the days, and I've mentioned this many times here, the days of American hegemony are over. And these are the final battles we're seeing now. I say final. I'm not saying this can't rear its ugly head again. It will. Excuse me. It will, okay? But at the same time, our ability to control the world as we did in the past is coming to an end. This world is split, east versus west. It's kind of ironic in that way. And I say south, east, and west. The southern globe, and you can go and look at a map or a globe to see what the southern globe is, who's there. The east, the Middle East, then you got East Asia, and all the partners that are there. And of course, then you got the Western countries in Europe. You also got to figure New Zealand and Australia is in that group. And of course, most of Western Europe and Eastern Europe now, and the United States and Canada. So, this is a battle lines drawn. It has been. And the days of just going in there and pushing people around are over, okay? We are at a standstill in being able to grow our country militarily and economically. We have reached the wall. And that is because the economy itself is terrible. It's falling apart. We're at $35 trillion in debt and growing. We really don't have the manufacturing base that we used to have. There's a lot of reasons, and we can go down those reasons, and a lot of people in their tiny little brains don't get it. I had people telling me many years ago that we're on the brink of the greatest fusion reaction technology in the world. We're all going to be paying nearly zero for fuel. We're going to be able to heat our energies, our homes for free. This guy was reading magazines, and I says, where do you get this stuff? Well, that's what they said. Well, yeah, the techies in there will make you believe, because they're excited. Their big brains are thinking, oh, we did something, but that's never going to be allowed. And there's been movies actually done on just that, where, free energy was available. And I believe there was one with Keanu Reeves, and I can't remember the name of it, but, they tried to kill him. They wanted to keep it buried, free energy. Having said that, and having digressed a bit, so the war in Ukraine is going to escalate one way or the other. I don't know if it matters who's going to be the president. By the way, it's 26 days to the election. And I know that there's a lot of things being done right now to hold off these escalations in these two countries, in these two regions. I know that Kamala Harris, I'm sure, is trying to restrain Joe Biden from allowing Zelensky and Netanyahu to escalate and push it forward, although they've tried very hard to do that. So basically, you're dealing with a nuclear country, a nuclear armed country in Russia. It's got more than 6,000 nuclear warheads and of all types and sorts. It's the biggest arsenal in the world. Why would you push the limits here? Why would you not think before you act and prevent this from happening, prevent a war from happening? Why not settle it? Why not just bite the bullet? But they can't. And those of you that don't understand that, you have to understand history and understand who's in control. Over the years, the permanent government, the people that believe in power and making money and being able to control regions of resources and oil and be able to intimidate people to get what they want. This is nothing new, and it's never going to be something that we ever see the end of, in a sense. In the Middle East, it's even more complex because, as much as the United States has wanted to get rid of Russia and henceforth China, bring them down, destroy them, fracture them. And this is the plan. This has always been the plan. Those of you that missed it, those of you that put Ukrainian flags on your walls and outside your homes, you don't get it. It's sad that you don't get it. It's sad that that's how limited your brain is to think. Bad guy, good guy. It's beyond that. Ukraine was a useful tool for the United States government, and they got you head first in a headlock, making you believe that, oh my, these are great country, great people. Zelensky's a nice guy. He's not, okay? He played the piano with a certain part of his body on TV. That's what he did. He was an actor. He was an entertainer, comedian. Excuse me. And he almost got us into World War III 4 times. At least. He's fired missiles and rockets and drones into active nuclear reactors. Okay? This is crazy. We didn't do anything. We didn't even slap him on the hand. Although there was some talk that he said, hey, you shouldn't do that. But see, he needs to escalate to win. He can't win the war as it is. He needs a full-out, everybody else in the world against Russia moment. So he's got to make a big deal. He's got to do something dramatic. Whether it puts me and you at risk or not, he doesn't care. But we're allowing it. Henceforth, he can pull us into World War III without us even, flinching. Okay? Because once a nuclear weapon is used, everybody will use them. You're in. Whether you realize you've been duped by this comedian or not, it's too late. It can be an idiot, which he is, getting you into war. Once it's committed, you're done. It's like your little brother's talking crap on the bully of the neighborhood. You don't want him to get involved, but the little brother's trashing the bully, and of course the bully's going to hammer the little brother. And then you have to step in and try to help the little brother because that's what you have to do. It's too late. The die has been cast. Anybody not get that? So in the Middle East, it's the same, except the part of Ukraine's being played by Iran, not Hezbollah, not anybody else. It's being played by Iran. Everybody wants to get rid of Iran, and there's a reason. It isn't because of all the things we say. I don't believe half the things they say about anybody. We will say anything about a country to get people to hate it so we can do what we want. They're bad guys. They're all bad guys. Well, I don't know. Here's my point. My point is this is a pretty powerful country, Iran. And no one's directly assaulting it yet because it is a pretty powerful country. But Israel's pushing the limits. And every time I hear somebody say that Iran's escalating, I'm here to tell you that if you look at the actual news from the Middle East and from those providing it on all sides, it isn't that. Israel wants a war, and it wants to make sure the United States of America is dragged into it because they're going to go against Iran, Yemen, Syria, and Lebanon. Okay? Now, Yemen is the Houthi rebels, which are putting up a heck of a fight in the Red Sea, shutting down shipping lanes. So these people are on the list. And both the United States and Israel need to get rid of the top guy, need to take control. Other than that, it's going to be China and Russia. And right now, Russia is providing weapons to Iran. And can you blame them? They have an agreement with Iran. Here in Ukraine, we've provided Ukraine every weapon known to man, including ones that have struck inside Russia. We've provided them just about every type of electronic equipment, information on where targets are. We've done all that. So guess what? What goes around comes around. And those of you that don't think that's what we do, you're an idiot. Listen, people, understand that just like the bully, the bully has his line to draw too. He's got a reputation to keep. If you let your little brother keep trashing him in front of everybody, he's gonna be like browbeaten down. No one's gonna be afraid of the bully anymore. So he's got to strike. Well, you see, that's what's going to happen here. See, there's the bully in the region is Israel right now, and it is. They are bombing Beirut, bombing Beirut, like people. They're not bombing military positions. They say they're military positions. They're not. They're just like they did in Gaza. I mean, they're just bombing buildings with people in it. I mean, this is their type of war, and people think it's okay. Many Christians think it's okay. Well, they're allowed to do it. Where? Well, God said they can do it. No, he didn't. Again, you're not going back 6,000 years and pull something out and say, today, go ahead and kill everybody because you want everything. You want to get rid. And people disagree. They want peace. No, they don't. Netanyahu has stated what he wanted. If you're too stupid not to listen to what has been reported about what Netanyahu wants in this war, you're an idiot too. He says he wants them all gone. That's their final solution. Get rid of all the Arabs in the area. Get rid of them. Because they're all bad. They hate us. Well, why? I wonder why. People get mad when I make that mention. Listen, I'm not here to say I hate any of these people. I don't. As a Christian, every one of them is a precious soul that Jesus Christ wants to save. That's how I look at it. So you can't convince me that I can just go in and blow up buildings with children in it and say it's okay because somehow they're connected and they're going to come after me. And because you never get rid of everybody. And this is one of the things Israel did, was they tried to decapitate, leadership of the countries they're fighting. This doesn't work. It's never worked. We've tried that in the drug cartels that we've tried to eliminate. There's always 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 more people that come back. Some are better than the ones before. Some are more radical. Some will take more risks. You take a risk for escalating when you start eliminating other people's leadership. It doesn't work. A shock and awe doesn't always work. Okay? Just destroying things just doesn't always work. And no, I'm not trying to say I have a hatred for anybody in these regions. Not the Ukrainians, not the Israel, not anybody in the Arab nations. Listen, these people all have to figure it out, but they're not going to. Because the bigger agenda will never allow peace. It never did, it never will, because the ultimate goal was to eliminate everybody that's an Arabic, that's an Arab within those regions. That's the way it is. And that's why there's never been a two-state solution, because the Israelis do not want a two-state solution. That's been said. That's been agreed upon. Everybody that has worked in these as ambassadors, as negotiators, will tell you. You've got to find them people and listen to those people. You just want to listen to your preachers. Sometimes these preachers come out and they make policy statements. Listen, if you have blood on your hands, it means if you were more than happy, just like in Japan, we bombed 2 cities with nuclear devices. To me, that was murder. And I know that everybody that had any, opinion said, well, it saved lives and it shortened the war and it did this, and if we had done that, there was only, I think, one person that in Roosevelt's cabinet that was for it. Nobody else was. Nobody else was but one person. But see, they wanted to do it because they could. It's fear. You create fear and awe. You test out a new weapon on people that are defenseless. You murder people, and it's okay because that's war. That's the way war is. But we have blood on our hands. And those people that want to make America great again, oh yeah, I'm going here. Okay, that's fine. That's fine. I'm not going to argue with you. But how do you overcome the blood on our hands for the last 100 years, since the beginning of this country? From what we did to the Native Americans here, that we did to just about anybody that was in our way. How do you compensate for that? Okay? As a Christian, I know you can't without repenting. This country won't repent. It hasn't, it will not, it'll continue. The people that run our government, the permanent state, the permanent bureaucracy that continues to perpetuate itself for decades, they don't care. They're not Christians. Madeleine Albright, when they said you're killing all these innocent people, she says that's the price they need to pay. Collateral damage is okay. She was an ambassador. This is what they think of? So those of you that get mad when you hear me call people out like this, get mad. You got to face your maker. And right now you think it's okay because you think you're right. We have all this evidence. No, you don't. Most of the evidence I've heard for, that Israel's fighting fair and it's okay and they're not doing anything bad. They're not killing people. They're not murdering people or raping people. All the stuff that everybody now knows is true and you don't. God forbid you're going to be lost when that time comes. You have to go face to face with your maker because the information is out there. And it's the same in Ukraine. The Nazis, excuse me, the Nazis in Ukraine's the stories you can be told about what they did to Russian-speaking citizens of Ukraine. You don't want to hear it. Put their flag up there. Yeah, they're great. We're fantastic. Give them more money. Well, guess what? It's coming out now, and I'm praying for the victims of Hurricane Helena and Milton. How they don't have money and they don't have enough support. And some people say, well, we've given all these illegals support. That's true. And I disagree with that. Okay? I disagree with these policies. But the amount of money we gave to the illegals is nothing in compared to what we're giving to Ukraine, Zelensky, and Netanyahu in Israel to kill people. We support genocide. You hate that word, don't you? Genocide. Genocide is what it is. Now, others have said, and I've heard analysts from the military on programs, and they say, well, it's not. It's just, mass destruction of people. No, it's genocide. Call it what it is. No one wants to call it what it is. They want to, tone it down a little. It's still bad, but it's not genocide. It is. It's genocide. Because, you see, the more people you kill, the less there are, and the less you have to worry about. The less that go into other countries and try to escape. These people are trying to escape. Of course, are these going to be illegal immigrants being bombed out of their homes in Beirut, for instance, and fleeing by the hundreds of thousands? Are these now illegal immigrants? Are they not allowed to have food or eat or do anything? Hey, see, it's a two-edged sword all the way down. And I've said this before. The whole illegal immigration, the mass migration of immigrants into other countries started in Syria, started in the Middle East when the United States decided to go to war with everybody, to basically get rid of every government, every leader, and cause chaos, and people left. We were bombing everywhere. And they went to Europe. They went to Greece. That's on us. Again, blood on our hands. But you people don't seem to care. Everybody wants to make excuses for these people. Put their flags up. Yeah. Well, you know what? Again, you got to face your maker. And what we've done, what we allowed to do, and what we make excuses for is a sin. I'm not talking about the other people just as bad and they did bad things. Listen, that's probably true. And it is true. You say, Dave, it's not probably true. Well, it is true. Not to this degree. The Biden administration had a talk with Netanyahu today, and I read the transcripts and or the breakdown of it. And he didn't really say in the conversation, he didn't really support Israel a lot. He said, well, they have a right to defend themselves. Well, so does everybody else. But guess who they targeted in this Biden commentary? They targeted, they said that it was Iran shouldn't have sent missiles into Israel. Well, why didn't you do that complain about it when Israel blew up in an embassy in Syria? That's a war crime. That's against every international law known to man, but no one slapped them. You don't hear anything. This is my point. Yeah, you guys can tell me all you want what happened on October 7th. You can tell me all you want. Add up everything that happened on October 7th. What do you have now on the other side? How many people in Gaza and Lebanon are killed? I mean, innocent people, blown to pieces. Nobody wants to talk about it. No one wants to balance it out. No one wants to say, hey, listen. And then you got the real losers that say, we got to find a peaceful solution. Oh, we've got to work this out. It's not. It's too late. People, America, who was the superpower of the world, right now still wants to be the great superpower of the world, still cannot negotiate, have diplomacy, use their power to dissuade anybody from anything. Netanyahu is not going to do anything that he doesn't want to do. We have no control. And we don't care because we want him to do it. We're sending them every bomb known to man. We're part of the genocide, people. Idiots. We're part of genocide. What part of that don't you get? No, it's just all their fault. No, it's not just all their fault. Listen, if you look at Gaza, there's a concentration camp. It was nice there. You think? I know somebody that was there. Then they're full of crap, because I know people that were there too. I know a couple of priests that went there. And I know them, and these were really good people. If they told me what they saw, they told me how they were treated. I know somebody. It's not that bad. They're being treated nice. Really? Where do you get this stuff? See, people make it up as they go. They listen to people that have an agenda. They listen to people with an ideology or with skin in the game that they want to keep their side. You know, they're the perfect ones, and we didn't do anything wrong. So I don't care if there's 5 little babies in that building. Kill them all. Kill everybody. Well, if this goes any farther, and we're still waiting, so you know, after the last counter attack from Iran, we're waiting now for, and that attack from Iran was because Israel killed a leader in Iran. Okay? Killed somebody in Iran. You know, a leader of the Palestinians, or was it Hezbollah? They killed him in Iran. So there was a retaliation. Now we're waiting for Israel's retaliation. Tit for tat, right? But the Americans are there. They sent a general to Israel to work out. And of course, this general is working out where to strike. Now, I want to be honest with you. There's places they can strike, and they could strike at nuclear facilities, which is, again, a bad idea. Iran's oil manufacturing facilities producing. Here's the point. If this type of escalation occurs, a massive one, Iran has Russian military weapons. Okay, and I know people don't think, oh, they're stupid people. Russians don't know anything. Well, they still shoot hypersonic missiles into anywhere they want, and no one can do a thing about it. And so, you know, Iran has these now. And so if this escalates, and this is my point, because I'm not just here cheerleading Iran. I'm just saying that leave them alone. Okay? You want to work this out, you work it out in another respect. Okay? But that's past, because you see, it was never ever in the cards for Iran to be part of anything in the Middle East. They were always targeted to be destroyed. They're most powerful and largest country as far as military and a lot of things besides Turkey. And of course, the Persians, very bright people, and they have created their own weapons, and they have their own infrastructure, and now they have Russian hypersonic missiles. And so if Israel attacks these sites in Iran, what can happen? How far can this escalate? Because the sheer number of missiles Iran has, they can shoot 200 a day for like 20 days, I think. And they can target anywhere. They can target Israel's energy producing, their grids, their power supply stations. Israel right now, for those of you that don't know, and it's the same with Ukraine, so I'm not just picking on Israel here. Both economies are a disaster, held together by borrowed money from us. No one's working. Hundreds of thousands of people left Israel. They got out. They'll never come back. Most of them will never come back. Their economy's in shambles. You take out key infrastructure. The Israel state you know today, and no Christians, those of you listening to this, will be gone. And I know I talked a little bit about last week about the prophecies about, the final war, the Gog and Magog war, where everybody surrounds Israel and goes after them. I don't think that's today. And I said that, and if I wasn't clear, I wasn't clear. This is not that war. And we have to also understand that things still have to make sense on the ground. You still have to make sense. If you've pissed everybody off around your neighbors, you're gonna find you're in a hornet's nest, and that's what they've done. They've escalated to a point now where there's no turning back. Now, in the next few days or weeks, we'll see if Israel responds and in what way. It may be to a lesser extent to keep it from getting out of control. And I'm sure Joe Biden, not Joe, I don't think he remembers, but I think his administration are trying to stress, even though they don't have much control over Netanyahu, they're trying to stress the fact that when this gets out of hand, we got your back, but remember, China and Russia got Iran's back. And where will this go? Again, two other nuclear-powered countries. And Pakistan has made mention, who is a nuclear-powered country, and I'm not a big Pakistan fan. But they said that if Israel uses nuclear weapons, they will use them on Israel. Do you see how this works? You could be in a nuclear war. We could be in a nuclear war whether you and I want it or not. The United States government is playing a very, very dangerous game here, hoping that all this results in the destruction of Russia and the collapse of China and the destruction of Iran, and then they can be the sole colonialist power in the Middle East again. Well, that's not going to happen, I don't think. And as I mentioned, this also hurts America's standing in the world. We are now a pariah to the world. I will tell you that the people I've talked to, the polling I've seen across the world, it's hard to find this stuff, but it's there. The statements made by other leaders, the United States is now just a pariah. They believe we are just a murderous, thieving, complicit country with other states that are genocidal, okay? And that's Ukraine, and that's in Israel right now. And that's what people believe around the world. And those nations that I've mentioned in the past, the BRICS nations, that is now, it's an economic conglomeration of countries joining together in an economic purpose. You know, it started with Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa. Okay, that's the BRICS. Okay, but now there's more and more countries added to that. One of them is Saudi Arabia. Turkey wants to join. Others are joining. Every year they bring more in, and there's 85 or 90 that want to join. This is an economic bloc that is formidable. And many countries within that are now making military alliances as well, as Russia and Iran have done, as Russia and China have done, as Russia and North Korea have done. These are mutual defense pacts. So it isn't just you fighting one guy now. It's you fighting multiple fronts. And that's the problem Israel's having now. They have multiple fronts, and without the United States, they can't win. In Ukraine, without support of the United States, they can't really hold on. Sadly, the war in Ukraine is coming to a close for Ukraine unless there's an escalation there. And I didn't talk a lot about that because let's just say that without a massive response by NATO, you know, Ukraine's collapsing now. It's just a matter of what the end result will look like. You know, will they get an agreement somehow before the Russians have to take all of Ukraine, because they don't want all of Ukraine. We'll see what happens. Again, there's still a lot of play in both these situations. So I hope you've understood this what I was trying to get at today. Sorry for a little mix-up here on the live stream. It's crazy trying to get this set up and running. I'm not an expert at it, and anybody know an expert, please come see me. But thank you. So I hope that you, have an idea of what really is happening now. I hope you pray about it, because, Jesus Christ is the answer. And when Jesus came, he came to set us free. He came to show peace. It was about peace and basically following him. And he was the King of Peace. He was, promoting peace. And they wanted him to wreak havoc in Rome. They wanted him to destroy the Roman Empire. They wanted him to do a lot of things that he wasn't going to do. It wasn't what he was there for. So this war mentality we've Christians have gotten into, that it's okay, it's all about war, and God wants you to go to war. Well, there's one thing about defending yourself. It's one thing about murdering defenseless people. And those of you that don't think children are defenseless, again, you've got some psychosis going on there. So I'm praying for these people. I pray for these regions. So again, if you're not a Christian, accept Jesus Christ and become one. And you'll find out if you read what his real will is for this world. That's all the time I have on this live stream. Again, a live stream again next week on on 8 o'clock here next Thursday. And I think that's the 17th, 8 o'clock. Be ready for that. Don't forget to watch my other videos. We have at least 4 other ones we put out during the week. Keep an eye out for it. Like, subscribe, and share. Join our family here. And outside of that, God bless you. And I'll see you next time right here on the Tomsic Analysis.